IdeaSpace Philippines Accelerator Program Cohort 10 is having its demo day this March 2, 2023, which is also in celebration for IdeaSpace Philippines 10th anniversary. Ano nga ba ang IdeaSpace? What will happen in the demo day? Let's know with Shor Macalbe, Program Manager for Startup Development at IdeaSpace Philippines. So hello, Shor. Welcome to Startup Podcast, and we're very happy to know more about IdeaSpace.
Hi, Johnny. Again, thank you so much for having me here. So I'm stoked, to talk about what Idea Space is, and what the demo day is, and everything that we need to know about Idea Space. Yeah.
Yeah, so nalalapit na ang demo day no sa March 2 in
Mm-mm.
a few days or a few weeks. But we really want to know more about IdeaSpace. I mean the foundation and then the program as well. So ano nga ba Shor ang IdeaSpace Philippines Accelerator Program?
All right, sige. To understand what the Accelerator program is, no, I'll delve into what the Idea Space is first. So Idea Space is a non-profit organization running founder-focused programs for early stage tech startup founders solving emerging market issues. So that's how it has been for the past 9 years. So we believe that technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship are critical to the Philippines' long-term growth and development, and the startup founders, play a major role in shaping the future of industry, community, and society. And then since 2012, we've been helping technology entrepreneurs develop and scale tech-enabled innovations and transform this into stable, scalable, and sustainable businesses. So IdeaSpace offers, the acceleration program that we are going to talk about tonight. And also there's the alumni program, an opportunity fund, and an external relations program. So this ensures that we give founders the support that they need at the critical phases of their business. And maybe just to boast some of our humble boast of some of the impact that we've done. No? So to date, we've actually supported 107 or more startups, hundreds more entrepreneurs mentored, and then we've deployed funding worth 180 million for startup and ecosystem support activities all throughout the country. Yeah, so all in all, that's IdeaSpace Philippines.
Yeah, first of all, I like to highlight lang no, yung advocacy pala
Mm.
ni IdeaSpace is to promote entrepreneurship and innovation. I think the podcast is also aligned with that
Mm-mm.
those two very important things that I think most Filipinos should, I mean, para ma-promote sa Pilipinas at least. And then nabuo na yung foundation into like every year merong cohort na nag-help, nagsusuporta ng mga Filipino startup founders.
Mm-mm.
And now we're actually in cohort 10 na I've heard na medyo special, medyo iba ng onte sa previous cohort. So can we know about the current cohort? Ano nga ba yung pinagkaiba niya sa mga previous na cohorts 1, 2, 3 up to 9 and now 10? So like, can we know more about this IdeaSpace cohort 10?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, IdeaSpace Core 10 is special because I mentioned earlier our goal is to provide founders with the support they need to develop stable, scalable, sustainable businesses. These are businesses within the early stages. No, this year the 10 cohort focuses on startups that are in scaling and growth stages. So the program aims to help strengthen their team and culture, business idea, product or service, yada yada yada, and then connect with community of founders, partners, and potential investors. Now, it's different because these startups in the scaling and growth stages are the ones that are ready to scale up their businesses and close to their first institutional raise, which is definitely different from what a startup is that is still in its early stages. No, so again, compared to early stage startups, the cohort and startups are those that are in focusing on hiring more people, raising funds, adding capital, transitioning to growing their company at scale, whether it be national or international, as long as they're scaling and they're growing. So yun then, I'll add that this year's program, which runs for 5 months, focused on accelerating the growth of 10 startups, high potential tech-based startups, to help them scale and commercialize their products and services and making them ready to close their first institutional raise.
I see, I see. So it's kind of different kasi beyond just supporting these early stage startups, maybe go into the next stage. Andito na tayo sa mga scaling up stage startups.
Yes, next level.
Yes, I think some of those in the previous cohorts are are here again for cohort 10. Is that right? Kumbaga yung mga nasa previous cohorts na as early stage ay umulit sa program ni IdeaSpace. Now, for cohort 10 kasi nag-scale up na sila. Is that right?
Yes, technically that can be right, but for this year, we don't have repeat startups, repeat founders. We do.
Ah, yeah.
They they joined Idea Space no early stage pa yung startup nila, pero different din yung startup nila. Right now, they have a startup that is in scaling and growth. So, swak sa cohort 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we learn more about sino ba itong mga startups na to sa cohort 10, can you just know yung yada yada yada? I mean, what specifically what
Okay, so
specifically,
yan
ano
yan.
lang, we're just curious
As
na lang
because
outside. I mean, maybe kasi
okay.
some founders will, ano eh, parang, ano nga ba ang nangyayari sa loob ng isang cohort, sa loob ng isang program? So, maybe what are those programs, mentorships, trainings, and maybe other opportunities, no, that those founders, those startups can receive in the Accelerator program?
Alright, okay, sige. Technically, bawat cohort ng Idea Space has a different format, no? Yung pag-select, how they implement the programs, but all of this cohort have what do you similar objective not to support startups. So all in ano din similar din sila in its aim that all cohort of the program aim to help strengthen the team and culture of the startups, their business ideas, product or service, and financial fundamentals, refine their business through learning sessions and mentoring, and then like what I mentioned earlier, connecting with a community of founders, partners, and potential investors. So that's how it has been for the past 10 years. It's not just giving them access to mentors, not just helping them learn through sessions or workshop. We also give them access to a network that could help them, grow into another stage of their startup journey. Yeah.
Yeah, so can we know, no, sino ba itong mga startups na to? I think they're fortunate to be chosen for cohort 10. And parang, how are they selected? I mean, what exactly are like the criteria para sila ay napili? I mean,
Mm. So, yun nga, iba-iba yung criteria din natin for each cohort, no? But for the 10th cohort, we've onboarded 10 startups in scale and growth stages. At hindi sinasadya na we realized that our 10th cohort had 10 startups for the 10th anniversary of IdeaSpace. So, parang yun yung motto namin, 10-10-10 this year. So, the latest cohort consists of, as I mentioned, 10 startups, particularly Aya AI, Ritana, Good Apps, Higher Payroll, Ignite Careers, CargaX, On-Demand Deals, otherwise known as ODD, Quick Insure, Smile API, and last but not the least, Reva Stuff. So all of these are hailing from various industries, startups, and all of them are tech-enabled. With regards naman to how they were chosen, well, to make the long story short, it was a rigorous process of elimination for this year. All right. But most of the time, the cohort for Idea Space naman, when it comes to call for applications, it's always it's an elimination process. So again, this year, rigorous process of elimination, we had to screen hundreds of startup applicants aspiring to be part of the cohort, then sift through them by getting to know them, and then and their startup one by one. No? So ultimately, then having the top picks in terms of the startups, no, pitched to a star-studded panel. So when I say star-studded, it means prominent figures and partners within the startup ecosystem. So hindi basta-basta yung panel para din sa pitching. So eventually, the 10 startups that I mentioned earlier were the ones that came out as the cream of the crop this year.
yeah. So talaga na-filter pala ano itong 100 plus
Super!
nag-apply sa Accelerator program. Speaking of these 10 startups, ano, we've actually interviewed si Britanna and si
Mhm.
Smile API, and those other startups will also be interviewing one by one sa Startup Podcast. So we'll also know in these episodes parang paano nga ba exactly natulungan or paano ba exactly nakagain ng support or ng benefits itong mga startups na ito through the IdeaSpace Philippines Accelerator program. Now, speaking of those other opportunities, no, that the startups have received so far, let's talk about the demo day na malapit na in March 2. So, ano mangyayari sa demo day? Ano nga ba ang demo day? What will happen? And parang, how do you expect the startups to have been transformed doon sa buong program na yun? Parang, ano yung magiging output sa kanila? And also, do we expect them to like gain investments from the demo day, gain more network, gain more customers maybe through scaling? So, yeah, I mean, can we just tell the transformation maybe, ano?
Yeah, sure. Since hindi pa tapos yung ano no, cohort 10, the program is still running until the end of February. I can't give you a definite output of how they're doing right now. No. So again, the demo day, which is like a culminating event for our cohorts, it's like graduation ceremony. No, it'll be on March 2. But itong graduation ceremony na to or the demo day is not a pitch competition. It's definitely just a showcase. So we're excited about it because it'll be the first in-person demo day of the IdeaSpace Accelerator program since the pandemic happened. So we're over the moon, like hyped for it and a bit pressured about it, but yet mainly excited because we can't wait to see everyone huddled in one big room, catching up with what's new, and then watching this year Cohort startups pitch about their milestones, no? So basically, the Cohort and startups will be showcasing their startup journey. As I said, it won't be a competition. So they'll be featuring the milestones and their plans then after the program. Definitely, they've gained connections. They've had access to networks, been introduced to various firms, mentors, partners, potential clients, and even investors that could help them in their startup journey in the scaling and growth stage. But the demo day is also a venue for them, to invite more potential investors, clients, and even partners to be part of their journey.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and saan gaganapin yung in-person demo day? I'm really excited about it.
Okay. It's in Makati. Yeah, it's in Makati. I can't disclose yet kung saan, basta it's in Makati. And then we'll be giving out invites. That way you can join us, no?
Yeah, yeah. So abangan natin 'yan no sa Facebook page
Yes.
and other social media channels ng IdeaSpace. And we'll also share those information sa Facebook page mismo ng podcast. Speaking of this, ano lang, IdeaSpace as a foundation, I think if, correct me if I'm wrong, nag-i-invest din si IdeaSpace sa mga startups na ina-accelerate nito. Ano, is that right ba? Parang every year meron ding napipili si IdeaSpace for it to invest in. Is that right? Can we just know a bit
Yes.
about that?
Oo, let's get through through that quickly, no. So the program this year, no, kasi pandemic, no, it runs on a hybrid setup and then it gives, startups the opportunity to meet investors, set business strategies, and learn from experienced mentors and entrepreneurs. So yung mga work sessions na ini-implement namin includes master classes, implementation weeks, mentor officers, getting to know industry expert, and of course, each startup part part ng cohort will receive a grant to help them with the scaling and growth plan. So that's one of the perks when you
Ah,
get when you get in the cohort. That's why like the competition is like very high. So that's why sabi nga 100 more than 100 applicants. Like that was very rigorous in selection because the startups that get into the cohort of Idea Space gets a grant to help them with their
yeah,
plans.
especially financial grants, no? Yan talagang habol din. I mean, of
Yes.
course, habol din natin syempre yung mentorship. I think that's also an important. Tsaka yung parang network with other investors, with other founders. And yeah, I just also want to ask about this. No? I mean, I'm just curious as well personally. Because there are 10 startups na iba-iba ng industry. So yung mentors pa, parang specialized ba? And parang iba-iba ba sila ng mentors? Parang iba-iba rin ba yung parang
Mm.
may tracks din ba sila ganun dito?
Okay. Another thing that made us thank you for mentioning about the tracks. No? Another thing that's special about this year is that we have ano ba tawag dito? Specialization tracks. So we've onboarded partners, PLDT and Microsoft, to support selected startups that would help them or not necessarily help them, that basta magsiselect sila ng startups that they know they can fully support. Um, the startups naman, para siyang yung when you go to a college that Idea Space is the course, tapos Microsoft
Major.
and yeah, major or electives mo.
Elective.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
selected startups lang. Si Microsoft at si PLDT, they choose the startups that they want to support.
Ah,
Um, Eto sila, they get more mentors based on their industries, their sectors. Kasi si Microsoft is focusing on B2B enterprises while PLDT is focusing on startups that are more tech-enabled. So they have more access to more mentors. But of course, lahat ng startups, because they have different needs based on their assessments, they all have different mentors. And we provide it to them once they request it. Like tinatanong namin sila, ano bang kailangan mo, ano needs mo. And aside from that, when we do the assessment then, when we see, oh, kailangan mo to, we introduce them to mentors. So
Mm.
meron kami mga mentors na pinipilit sa kanila because they don't know that they need
Mm.
them. Meron din mentors na alam nila that they
Mm.
need. So we introduce them to them.
Yeah, but that's really interesting, and I think that's one of the most helpful things na nagagawa ni IdeaSpace. I think yun din ang key din kay IdeaSpace na parang it has partners in the industry, in the corporate world, I mean, like this big establishments, these big institutions na I mean, it's not easy to get connected with these large institutions. So through the program ano, and through IdeaSpace, I think that becomes possible. And happy 10th year anniversary kay IdeaSpace. I think the demo day is also in celebration with the 10th year anniversary. Pero going forward, will there be cohort 11 and same ba ito sa cohort 10 na for scaling up startups as well? So can you just know about the future pa next year? Maybe may mga nakikinig ano na interested to apply for the next cohorts ni IdeaSpace.
Okay. Alright, sige. Of course, definitely cohort 10 is gonna happen, no? No doubt, as in hands down, it's gonna happen, whether you like it or not. Alright? Pero as of the moment, no, unfortunately, I can't disclose any information beyond that. Hindi ko pwedeng sabihin if it's
Mm.
for scaling and growth or will be returning to early stage
Mm.
because we have a lot of plans. And then we want to make sure that we can give our utmost support to the startups that need it, no? But so definitely after supporting startups in scaling and growth stages, we've now gauged how much more startups out there we can support. So we're pumped to onboard more cohorts in the future. So you'll definitely be seeing a call for applications for cohort 11 this year. So watch out for that. And then of course, I'm pretty sure my cohort 12, 13, and so on. More decades to come for Idea Space, definitely.
Yeah, yeah. So abangan natin 'yan 'no sa mga nakikinig. Abangan natin yung next cohorts and yung call for applications. Wag tayong late sa pag-apply kasi very competitive din and very fortunate actually yung mga napipili to join the program. So, thank you Shor ano for this conversation, for sharing about IdeaSpace. If our listeners just want to know more information, maybe they want to saan nga ba gaganapin itong demo day? So, can you lead them to the social media channels or to the website maybe or wherever they can get this information?
All right. Okay. So you can follow IdeaSpace Philippines and Kubo Philippines on Facebook to keep posted. And now, just in case you're wondering how Kubo and IdeaSpace are intertwined, because I just mentioned the both of them, it's basically the same organization now. Because after the alignment a couple of years ago, IdeaSpace and Kubo have turned into one big, better, and happier family. So we refer to IdeaSpace when it comes to the aspects of investments and portfolio startups. Then for the rest of the programs, such as yung Philippine Startup Week, the kulitans namin, incubation programs, that's where, Kubo
Mm.
comes in. So yeah, follow the official pages of IdeaSpace Philippines and Kubo Philippines for updates, particularly on the IdeaSpace Accelerator program. You'll find it on a Facebook page of IdeaSpace, no? And then, just in case you're wondering, the Accelerator program for IdeaSpace takes place every year, annually, no? So,
Yeah.
may chance kayo just in case you weren't able to get in last time. So just keep on trying. And then for other, more information on other programs that we've implemented that you might also be interested in, you can visit Kubo Philippines, yung Facebook page namin, no? You can also contact us via hello@kubo.com.ph if you have, any pressing questions or you just want to say hi.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you then Shor for sharing about yung parang isang unified ngayon si IdeaSpace and Kubo. I've talked with Katchan before no, about Kubo naman.
Mm-hmm.
Merong special episode about Kubo. It's actually parang more of the incubation nga and the community and the bayanihan. Si IdeaSpace parang focus niya is yung acceleration maybe of these startups. Yeah, so yeah, maraming salamat Shor for this conversation, sharing more about IdeaSpace, even Kubo and like what you're doing accelerating and helping our Filipino startups. So maraming salamat Shor.
All right. Thank you, Johnny. Had fun. Thank you.
Thank you.